What is happening, mediocre people of YouTube? I'm just screwing around here before I go to work. Replacing my nuts, right? So I really like these. I wanted to talk about these a little bit too because this is a really good company. These guys that made this Tusk man-made ivory, Graphtech, that's the name of the company. This is a really great company. And when you replace the nut, if you get the string width, get all your measurements down, which on the Aria Pro 2s happens to be the exact same measurement as the Gibson's. This nut, the new one, will basically just drop in. And all I'm doing right now is I just got a little tiny gap on this side. I don't know if you can see it. See that little gap on the bottom there? It's not on this side. You can't see it. Right there. So we don't have a gap on this side, but we have a gap on the other side. So I'm just trying to get that evened out. Here's the old one. I don't know, this is probably made of probably bone or something. I don't think it's plastic. No, it's not plastic. It's probably bone. But it was, over the years you can see the wear the strings have done to it. And especially the higher note, the higher register started to buzz. Great action. Just unfortunately started to buzz. So yeah, I'm still in my robe. I'm just getting ready to go to work pretty soon here, but wanted to talk a little bit about another one bites the dust. And what I mean by that is it's unfortunate. You know what I need? Sunglasses and a coffee. I'll keep my robe on for now. Hold on 1 second. Even faster than a second. So I've made videos in the past talking about how, I was, thinking of leaving YouTube, and why I was thinking of leaving YouTube, and how you should too. And I don't make as much content as I used to, because I just don't give a shit anymore. It's the guitar community has become absolutely toxic. And now that I've said that, you'll probably get at what I'm talking about. And I know a lot of you guys that watch my channel watch his channel. The Guitologist did a live stream the other day, talking about, he's done, he's fucking done. And not that he's leaving YouTube, because I know all you idiots out there are going to be like, oh, you quitting YouTube again? No, it's not that. He's just done trying, because the straw that broke the camel's back for him, I guess it was, he put like many hours into a video, and some guy commented about something, and it was just like, I'm fucking done, dude, because it's fucking stupid. You can't, well, there you go, my video, you won't see this video unless even if you're subscribed to my channel and you get the alerts, you may not even see this video because I just dropped an F-bomb, right? So if it's not YouTube just hammering you down, it's, the people in the community who just want some type of drama to go on or something like that, and it's, it's not necessarily, our Generation X that is involved. It's more than people that, basically, they consider themselves in the guitar community, but they don't really, even play guitar or whatever. You know, they might look at a guitar. They've never played in a band. They've never played in a live situation with other people. They've never recorded anything. They've never, you know, whatever. And maybe some of them have and some of them haven't. But the point of it is that, you know, so many people are just looking for so much drama, you know, and that's a learning curve to that. And everybody that's been a part of YouTube for any time understands that, you know, you just, you know, in the beginning you kind of get pissed off at it, and later on you just don't give a shit anymore. But I think it's a shame when you know, Brad, who, you know, he's given a lot to this community. You know, I mean, I've learned tons from him. In fact, you know, I'll say it again, as I've said it many times. It was first Uncle Doug, and then right after that, that's when I found Brad. And that's how I started, you know, working on amplifiers and even building my own amplifiers. Those are the guys that, you know, taught me the basics. I mean, especially Uncle Doug. I mean, he went through, you know, how to build a current limiter if you can't, you know, if you don't want to buy one, or, you know, here's how to be safe first off, you know. I mean, he went through all of that before anything else, I think. These guys are natural teachers, you know, and you can learn so much from them. So it's a shame when I see, you know, Brad's just done. He's like, fuck it, I'm done giving a shit about this stuff. Because if it's not, you know, some of the community, it's the it's YouTube, and you know what it is, it's Google and YouTube. And who knows what'll happen to this video, but I'll just say it again right now. You know, when my channel was growing. You know, this is right around the time where they switched to, you had to have at least 1,000 subscribers to be monetized, and, you know, 4,000 watch hours or whatever. And at that time, my channel had grown past that. It was monetized, and it was growing, you know. And I'm not looking for a huge audience. I never was in this for an audience. If you look at my about page, it'll tell you everything. I haven't changed that about page from day one. You know, I did this for me, you know, as a means of documenting different points in my life, right? So, but it's kind of cool that other people are interested, and you know, Google or YouTube at that point, maybe it was, I don't know if Google had bought it yet. Yeah, Google had bought it. You know, they'd flip me a couple of $100 every month, which was great, you know. And then the day came when I said, hey man, got a question for you guys, my viewers. I had the virus, and I had these residual symptoms. They had lasted, they kept on going for like a year. And like how when you get that virus, how everything just dries up. I mean, you want to cough stuff out, but you can't because everything's just dry. And even after I was done being sick, my nasal passages and sinuses were they stayed dry for an entire year. And that was when the, you know, the anti-venom came out. And it was a nurse who's a friend of the family, and I was describing to her about what was going on with me, and she said, listen, she goes, I will never admit to this. If anybody ever asks me if I told you this, I'll never admit to it, and I didn't say this. But you might think twice about getting the anti-venom, because people who have complained of your types of symptoms, it has gone either way. Sometimes it cures those symptoms. Other times they come back to the hospital extremely sick for months. So I put out a video asking you guys, what do you think I should do? You know, because at the time, you know, I was like, you know, what should I do? So then I ended up getting, you know, the virus again, and everything changed back. So, and I haven't had it since, I don't think, and I never did get the anti-venom. And I'm glad I didn't, because, you know, obviously we know more now. than ever. And we knew that it was new, and you know, there's so much we don't know about that whole situation even today, you know, and whether they're, you know, going to be honest about it in the end, who knows. But that was the very next morning. I was sent an email from Google saying my channel was being demonetized for that video, and I'm like, wow, really? So, and I think maybe they took the video down, maybe they didn't, maybe they left it up, and I was like, look, if you want, I guess I'll take it down, and but that was it. And so anyway, that was when I said fuck it. I'm like, fine, just I guess that's what we're doing now. You know, it's not like the end of the world. It's not like all the friggin' money in the world. But I stopped giving a shit about the content I was putting out. I went back to my original version of, you know, I'm gonna put out whatever I feel like putting out, and that's it, because there's no incentive for me to try to do any type of professional content or anything like that. So later on down the road, and then that's when my subscriber count stopped growing, the views stopped growing. You can go and look at my old videos and you can see where videos used to get hundreds of views, and then all of a sudden it started dwindling down to like 50 views, even what I get today. Okay, and you can literally look at I get tons of videos here. Go look at them, and you can see how there were views, and then all of a sudden the views stopped, and the subscriber count stopped, on top of my being demonetized. So a couple of years went by, and I was on the app, and they're like, hey, you know, you're eligible for monetization. You know, why don't you monetize the channel? I said, okay, fine. So I you know, filled out the necessary paperwork and all that, and I got an email back that, oh, something was up with my AdSense account. I had to go change something in my AdSense account in order to get my monetization through. So I'd go over to AdSense, and I don't remember what it was. It was something simple. Changed it, and or no, I think it was AdSense said, no, it's not us, it's Google. And so then I got to Google, and they said, no, it's AdSense. So it was back and forth like that until finally, maybe a year later, I actually talked to someone at Google. You know, that wasn't just one of those emails that goes out and one of those generic replies. I actually talked to somebody through another YouTube program that I was a part of, and you know, and I explained to them what had gone on, and I didn't understand why that is, and I didn't think it was cool of them to do that, but whatever. And she was like, well, no, you're eligible for monetization. I mean, you know, so I would think I was like really close to getting it back, and then whoever pulled the plug on me said, no, he's never getting it back. Just like my old channel, how it got suspended and taken down over copyright content, which was not copied. There was no issue there at all. There was no issue between me. I had another creator's content on my channel, but I did it the right way, and I had the permissions, everything. He sent emails to Google and told them, hey man, I gave this guy permission to put this content on his channel. Nope, you're never getting that channel back. So that's where my monetization status is today. They're just like, oh, it's an AdSense problem. And then I go to AdSense, and AdSense says, no, it's not an AdSense problem, it's a Google issue. And then I go back to Google, and they say it's back and forth, AdSense, Google, AdSense, Google. So, you know, again, I don't give a shit anymore. And at that time, you know, I was interested in, you know, perhaps putting out, you know, more professional content and upgrading my camera and things like that. You can ask some of the people I was affiliated with, because I was asking them about what they were using for a camera and whatnot. So, you know, it's not like any of this stuff isn't not documented. It's well documented. So, you know, I continued to watch the people that, you know, I liked on YouTube, and then all of a sudden now we've got this civil war going on, where people have connected themselves to one party or another and they are willing to just hate each other over two political parties who will never know your name, do not care about you. Um, you know, it's ridiculous. And this whole country is in this civil war right now. And I don't care. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, of course I voted for Trump. Why wouldn't I? Um, the thing of it is that do I think Trump actually gives a shit about who I am? No, it's about policy, and I've always voted based on policy. You know, um, I've never voted because there was a time where I voted Democrat because I felt at that time in my life I felt that that's where the policy, their policy was the best thing for me. Um, and they sell it. They do a great job of selling it. Let me tell you. Until one day I saw the light and I found out that there is no honor amongst thieves. But when it comes down to it, and I look back all the way to my childhood, I mean, we're a pretty conservative family, you know. So when I was very young and voting Democrat, I just kind of relate that to rebellion and whatnot, because in the end, I've always held pretty firm to my conservative beliefs. Um, so there you go, more views taken away right there, because this Democrat Party is so hateful, and just that's all they have is hate. They've they've just become this party of hatred. Um, so getting back to Brad, the gitologist, and I'm not afraid to say who I'm talking about here because I've always been real cool with Brad, and that dude's been really cool to me outside of YouTube. Um, there's times where I reach out and ask for advice, or maybe I have a problem amplifier and I can't figure it out, or whatever, just to say hello, And Brad's a good one. He's a good dude. He had mentioned a couple of people along that lines in his live stream, and yeah, you get few and far between where people, people that they don't want anything from you, even when you're at your lowest and everybody hates you, that person's still talking to you, that kind of thing, right? So getting back to Brad, I mean, it's you guys who are losing out. It's Google who's losing out. That guy, I mean, there's nobody else that I know of on YouTube who is that down to earth, showing you how to fix things, not just amplifiers, but his other channel too. Now as far as I know, he's going to keep doing what he's doing on his other channel, but the gitologist channel, he's still going to post content. That's what he was saying, but he's just not going to care as much, and I don't blame him. For what purpose, right? I mean, they have badged him, Google has badged him the bad guy, just like they've badged pretty much every conservative, any person that has ever had any type of conservative viewpoint, they've badged them the bad guy. And I don't know that that's necessarily why that they've badged him that, but if at this point in time, in America and on these social media platforms who are all run by leftists, if you say anything, whisper anything that might have anything to do with a conservative value, you are automatically the bad guy, and they're coming after you. They're going to come after you however they can. So it's sad to see that happening, because like I said, there's nobody out there that I know of on YouTube. There's certainly small engine people out there and stuff like that, but his content has always just been so down to earth, and he's not like this giving you this big presentation of I'm the greatest, where there's other amplifier channels like that who he mentioned it himself, man. These amp techs can be really fucking snobby They can be really egotistical, and Brad has never been that. Neither has Uncle Doug. I've never felt below him, you know, even though he was talking way over my head back in the day and he can still talk way over my head regarding amplifiers, but he does never make me feel that way. You know, it doesn't make me feel below him. So I think that's a pretty awesome quality in a person, to have. So, you know, hey, it's Google's loss. It's the subscribers lost. You know, it's unfortunate, but I get it. You know, I totally get it. So again, this is just an off the cuff video before I go to work here. I'm busier than heck, but I did want to just kind of make some remarks about his latest live stream, because I think it's sad, just, you know, that the dude's just like, I give up. It's sad on one hand, but at the same time, I totally support him 100%. I'm like, honestly, I can't believe this didn't happen a lot sooner, you know, for him. I can't believe he didn't do this a lot sooner, you know, because I lost it a long time ago. I stopped giving a shit a long time ago. And I think a lot of others did, unless you were in the crowd. You know, if you're in the club and, you know, you're being fed a script and, you know, literally, and you've got the TDS, you know, you're in the club. So, you know, and that's why, you know, and I said I was done. I rest my case with that fat guy in Washington. But that's why when somebody like him comes up and they are just spreading the wrong information, and then they act like they're the authority on it, and even someone as dumb as I am can see that they are actually dumber than me. I mean, that's a big step, you know. And somebody is with my low IQ can see that he is spreading the wrong information, you know. But at some point you're just like, you know, you can't fix stupid, right? I mean, I couldn't fix myself, so how do I think I'm gonna fix him? But, you know, so, you know, I let go of that. You know, it's not that I was ever really took it seriously, but because I understand you can't fix dumb. But he's still out there, you know. But people listen to this stuff and they think he's, you know, they think he knows what he's talking about, and then they go electrocute themselves or something, you know. And, you know, I don't want to see anybody get hurt over, you know, trying to fix their stuff, you know, fix their own stuff. You know, you always used to see the disclaimers come up in the channels about, you know, hey, these tube amplifiers have lots of voltage. You know, I'm not instructing you, I'm just documenting this repair. And you know, anyway, yeah, I'm kind of all over the place with this because I didn't really plan on what I was gonna say here. But yeah, Brad the Guitologist, you know, I want you to know that you gotta, you know, whatever, you know, is going through your head now, I get it. I support you 100%, and there's a whole bunch of us that support you 100%. But it's on the other hand, it's sad to see you say, okay, fine, you know, I'm done. But, you know, sometimes in life you have to choose your battles, and, you know, with this whole Google and YouTube thing, you know, it's one of those situations where you've got to choose your battle. Is it worth it to battle with these people? To me, it isn't. For what? You know, for a couple $100 a month. I'm sure Brad was doing more than that, but you know, even so, I mean, my understanding now is that, you know, it's really, unless you have like millions of subscribers, you know, you're not really getting paid anything. And it was pennies back then too. But like I said, you know, take a couple $100 a month for my little tiny channel and the little content I was doing. It was great. Now this is a long time ago. This is back when somebody that had 50,000 subscribers could turn $3,000 a month. Apparently, I mean, that's what I was told by this person, but that person told me a lot of things. So anyway, if you guys don't know Brad the Gutologist or his other channel, the Fixologist, go check him out. And if he's not for you, leave him be. And if he is for you, tell him I said hello, and tell him hello for your own good. You can learn a lot from the guy. Other than that, until next time, I will very quickly take you guys on a quick tour. Tomato plants, but more importantly, oh, we gotta get this screen out of here. Auto. Photo. Purple root beer. And strawberries, marigolds, lots of them, and an auto critical. Till next time, peace out.